Welcome back. I'm going to start with a quote from Theodore Roosevelt. You might have heard this one before. Who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails, whilst daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. That is indeed a good speech of his, and you might have heard about daring greatly. Brene Brown famously quoted her book from that speech, Daring Greatly. Now, welcome back. We're at Flourish. I'm Diane Planidin, and you're in the right place if you're ready to create an inspired life. And we're working on our own personal development so we can be strong for those we love and mentor, and especially for our own personal well-being. Today is Action Day, because action wins the race. Dr. Tara Swart from Source, we're finishing her book, and she calls it an action board versus a vision board. Well, where do you begin? Well, she says, creating an action board is about identifying your innermost dreams and representing them pictorially. However, as she mentioned, that does not mean you just sit back and wait for things to happen, for the money to pour in, your ideal partner to sweep you off your feet, or your body shape or confidence to radically change as if by magic. Yes, your brain is more powerful than that. You create an action board to prime your brain to grasp any opportunities that will bring you closer to the things you identified you want in your life. More than this, you will also use the board to take action to make those dreams a reality. She gives the example of weight loss. If you want to achieve a particular body shape, feature it on your board. An image relating to this will act as a prompt to encourage you to start going to the gym, do yoga, or change your diet. Choose what you value, prioritize what you want to pay attention to, where your aim is, what's your vision, and it can be more than one thing. If you need to cut out a picture and change the head to your head, or not even show a face, just see that body that you want, that you strive for. Maybe you have a special occasion coming up and you really want to look your best. Maybe you've had enough of what COVID did to a lot of people who became very sedentary, and that became a habit. Well, you can change that habit and come up with a plan, come up with a schedule, come up with one big vision board of what the one thing that's most important to you. You should use it actively, she says, not passively. Your visualized future should inspire action now. And now is the time to start. And that's because action boards are incredibly powerful tools. Images track instantly to your brain's visual centers. We're very visual people. Bypassing conscious thought, which means the brain's filtering system can't edit them out or dismiss them. It's the symbolism, inspiring energy, and action in the real world. Now, she compares this to a traditional written list of personal goals or even a to-do list. An action board will have way more impact on your brain and your future behavior. It might feel strange or even a bit silly to make an action board at first, but visualization and creating action boards are skills that you will feel more in tune with over time. As repetition builds and strengthens the pathways in your brains for these activities. And you need to have patience. You need to know that this is not a wishing well or an overnight, kaboom, it's going to happen every day. And I go back to the weight example. If you want to lose 10 pounds or 5 kilos, did that weight go on overnight? No. Maybe it went on over a month. Maybe I ate too much cheese over Christmas. But that's what I'm talking about. Just as in reverse, you got to just plant that seed and nurture it. and watch what happens. Watch yourself starting to take action, because today is the day you turn your life around. Today's the day. It's today. Let's do it. I'm in. So she says, how to get started. An action board will be the ultimate manifestation of priming your brain to design your life. The fact that you create it with your own hands and see it every day in full color activates numerous pathways in your brain: tactile, visual, emotional, intuitive, and motivational, sending them the core message about you truly want far more powerfully than just reading a list or thinking about your goals from time to time will ever do. Harnessing the concept of selective attention combined with the neuroplasticity of behavior change reaps the result. And this is where you get to get creative. You can get a bulletin board out. You can go to the loony dollar store and get, white pieces of the paper. You can tape pieces of paper together. You can tack things on. You can get a whiteboard and draw things. Do you want to do magazine cutouts? Do you want to print something off the internet? Something you've seen that you love. Think about when you go to a furniture store and they have a designer there that has all these boards, all these tiles that match the carpet, that match the fabric, that match the chair. They're creating a vision for design. And that's what you're doing. You're designing your future. How fantastic is that? And the whole fact that we are such visual creatures changes things. I remember quotes because I have them on my board. I remember my priorities because I have them on my board. And I look at it every morning. And I have my mantras and I have my affirmations, but I also see it taking action. Because then what happens, and she goes into this in great detail, the neuroscience in the book, is then you become much more aware of your surroundings. You start noticing things. Think about the new car that you want to get one day. What color is it? What make is it? What model is it? Then you start seeing that car everywhere. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what she's trying to reiterate, that why an action board with pictures on it and your future on it will make a difference in your mindset, because you'll start seeing opportunities. And that's when you're ready. You're going to be ready to take action. That's why she calls it an action board. And she goes on to say, it is a good idea to use at least some metaphorical representations of what you want to achieve rather than only direct representations or concrete examples. And for example, if you're looking to move, then attractive interior decor images make sense. But to trigger the emotional and subconscious parts of your brain, as well as the logical and conscious parts, you could use less literal images. You could use a picture of a balloon to remind you of the importance of being free from burdens, or a chosen icon that speaks to you to remind you of the qualities of your best self. Such metaphorical images are very powerful as they message your subconscious, allowing you to use abstraction and value tagging to spot and grasp opportunities that you might have missed otherwise. Just as you sometimes dream in symbols with your subconscious creating metaphors to make sense of your experiences and thoughts, so you can direct your subconscious with imagery, particularly when it's non-literal. Metaphorical images also make your action board more private and less obvious, which may make you feel more comfortable about placing it in a prominent position in your home or wherever that might be. Maybe you don't have room in your home on a wall to put it up. Maybe you have a roommate. Maybe you're sharing space, whatever your personal situation is. But maybe you have a little drawer or a cupboard. You can put it inside. It's your own private space. That's your own private business, right? And metaphorically, I'm going to say one thing I have on my action board is a Band-Aid. Aha, why do I have a Band-Aid? Isn't that weird? Is that about health? No, for me, it's like rip off the Band-Aid. Do it. Just do it. The slog is worth it. A little bit of pain, a lot of healing. Metaphorically. So you don't have to do that, but what she's trying to say is if you're in a space where people just don't get it and maybe think you're being weird, well, you just tell them, you step aside, mind your own business. I am living my dream life and I am going to succeed. Are you with me? Without me? See what happens. It'd be interesting. But she does recommend the best place to put your action board. Your action board needs to be placed somewhere highly visible to you so that you can see it at least once every day. The best places include by your bed, so you see it every night before going to sleep, or inside your wardrobe drawer, so you see it every time you get dressed in the morning. A particularly good reason to place your action board by your bed is so that you can look at it just before you fall asleep at night. The transitional period from wakefulness to sleep is known as the hypnagogic state of consciousness. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Mental phenomena such as lucid thoughts or lucid dreaming occur during this threshold consciousness, making you particularly suggestible at this time. If you have paid deliberate attention to a repetitive activity just before falling asleep, particularly something that is new to you, then this will tend to dominate the imagery of your dreams. This is known as the Tetris effect. Yes, named after the game, indeed. This occurs when people devote so much time and attention to an activity that it begins to pattern their thoughts, mental images, and dreams, and is yet another way to imprint on your subconscious the things that you should be looking out for during the day. Take advantage of the fact that an element of novelty creates a more powerful effect on your brain. And before you turn out your lights and go to sleep, look at your action board intently, using a mantra or affirmation, or simply state out loud what the metaphorical images represent to you. Do this frequently for the first month you use the board. After that, just let its images sink into your subconscious with a glance. You have nothing to lose by trying this. Nothing to lose by trying this. But give it time. Minimum a month. I'm going to say minimum 90 days for me personally. But the images will sink in. Sometimes you see images, especially in scary movies, things like that, that you can't unsee. So why not fill your mind, body, and spirit with a beautiful image? The image of your future. I'm loving this. And I'm going to reiterate what we talked about in the first chapter on the law of attraction. And then the first law was abundance, abundant mindset. But you get that abundant mindset by putting abundance in front of you. Here's a famous story about Jim Carrey writing himself a check for $1 million. And guess what? The next week or something, he got a part in a movie and it paid $1 million. Coincidence? I don't know. But his vibe was positive. He could see what he wanted. He could feel what he wanted. He probably loved how that made him feel. So you are the creator. And I'm just going to read a little bit of a quote from the law of attraction. Abundant thinking relies on a willingness to change our patterns of thinking and make space for the new, to let go of our past beliefs and assumptions and take on board new evidence and ideas, and you do that visually. We're very visual people. So get going, create that vision board, create that action board. And as she says, as your brain pathways strengthen, directing your behavior to create the new reality for you, the best time to create an action board is, of course, today, right away. Doesn't matter what day it is, doesn't matter what time of year it is. If you're just hearing this now and it's July, beautiful. Start today. Begin to really write things down. What does the big picture look like? Where do you want to be in 3 months, 9 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years? What were you doing 2 years ago? Has that made a difference in your life? Why not take action today? Action wins the race, and an action board will help you. It'll be your own little personal motivator. And she says it can take up to a year for most things on her action board to become reality. And as your brain pathways strengthen, directing your behavior to create that new reality for you. Yes. So in the meantime, you will need to achieve a balance between patience and determination. Yes. Update your focus. Each time you review your board and see something else on the board that is now a reality in your life, add that feature to your accomplishment list. Remember, you made a list of accomplishments? Watch your accomplishment list grow and use this as a guide as to whether you need to reinforce, remove, or add something to your board, depending on how your year is panning out, right? You will continue to pivot. You will continue to change. What's working, what's not working. Do I know what to do? Do I have to learn what to do? Only you can know these things. She gives an action board checklist. You will have created a powerful action board filled with images that accurately represent the life you dream of. Look at it every day and ideally multiple times a day to refresh your memory and allow the images to work on the source. Visualize the items on your board coming true. Add that emotional component. How are you going to feel? Amazing. Take action today.